Thomas, thank you for accepting people, helping people invitation under Access Link Consulting today. It's a pleasure having you with us.
Likewise, thanks for having me.
To start with, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your role with Billbergia Group?
Sure. So I started in the property industry about 8 years ago, first in off-the-plan residential sales. Realised I wanted to move on to the more client side of the fence. So we've been in development now, so just about 7.5, coming up to 5.5-year anniversary with Billbergia. And I've been a development manager there ever since. So really just responsible for managing our multi-res projects, most significantly delivering Lidcombe and West Ryde last year, which were a social housing and affordable collaboration with Homes New South Wales and a community housing provider. So my next projects are in Lane Cove, seniors living, and then moving on to a state significant DA in Rhodes.
Beautiful, beautiful. I believe that Billbergia obtained a lot of significant awards from recognized bodies such as UDIA, Urban Task Force, Master Builder Associations, and other bodies. Could you please tell us the most significant awards that Billbergia got awarded, and also explain its significance?
It's a tough question. There's been a few awards, and it's really hard to pin on one. So I think the biggest thing for us is we've had 10-year track record now of delivering projects and being recognised by industry bodies. So it's deeply rewarding for Billbergia.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick one, there was a 2022 Property Council of Australia Development of the Year for Wentworth Point, which is a huge tick in our books. And most recently, the Council for Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat for a project in North Sydney, which just won an international award. So they're probably the two most recognised awards we received. There is a UDIA awards night tomorrow, which 2 of my projects are up for finalists. So maybe ask me again tomorrow and we'll see.
Oh, beautiful. So you're gonna add more rewards on your books, and
yeah.
That's amazing to hear. You guys are adding a lot of value to the community overall, and everyone can see that. So one of the things that also caught my attention is that Billbergia is one of the first builder developer who adopted the iCIRT assessment, and they obtained 4.5 gold star rating, which is impressive. Could you please tell us the importance of this achievement, and also how did it have the confidence and the trust of the consumer with Billbergia to increase?
It's a really good question. I think we adopted the iCIRT rating really early on, and I think the reason is purely for consumer confidence. So the Building Commissioner and the DBP Act really came back to get rid of sort of unprofessional practices and really restore consumer confidence in the industry. So for us, taking on board, it was really a defined process for things that we were already doing. So a bit of a learning curve, but we got there, and we think there's a lot of value in it. So for us, off-the-plan sales is our bread and butter, what keeps us going. And there needs to be a lot of trust in our consumer market. People coming with their life savings to buy their first home and potentially their only one, they need to have a certain level of trust that what they're buying into will be delivered at the end of the day. So we have a lot of repeat purchases at Billbergia, and really that's down to our good quality. So it's nice to have an iCIRT rating now to justify to other people why that is.
Yeah, and to stand out as well in this industry, where people can, as you said, can have full trust with the product, and also have their future and their houses as a security for them from certain developers that are accredited and assessed under Equifax and have the iCIRT rating. So Billbergia Group commitment to the community is distinguished, and how does this dedication help delivering more inclusive and accessible communities?
We've always believed in creating communities, and part of that is inclusivity and accessibility. Most recently, tackling the supply crisis in New South Wales, we're partnering with the government and community housing providers. And we're looking at projects now, like our most recent one in Arncliffe, which is 800 units. 75% of those are social and affordable homes. Lidcombe and West Ryde, which we completed last year, achieved 40% social and affordable, and they're delivered 10-year blind. minimum silver level standard across all units, and NDIS ready at completion. So with that partnership, we're looking to create accessible and inclusive spaces so that, from the day of completion, anyone can move into those homes and have their needs looked after.
No, that will definitely take me to my next question. Billbergia has a lot of projects in the pipeline that are subject to SSDA, which is State Significant Development. How do you see these projects contribute to the supply of urban living in Australia? And also, how do you think that they will impact the delivery of more inclusive community and add value to the overall society?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There's a changing sentiment now with people that we need more homes. And it's a nice change of pace from, the more NIMBY way of thinking. So increasing that supply, the state government's obviously released the affordable housing uplift, and it's an applaudable initiative by the state government to increase good supply. Unfortunately, it doesn't work in every suburb. We're fortunate enough to have projects that are close to transport, close to services, and can afford to have a bit more high density. So our hope is that, creating good spaces that are accessible and inclusive, encouraged by transport and services infrastructure, that ultimately we're creating those communities that can be accessible and inclusive as well.
So we worked with you on few projects, with Billbergia, right? And we delivered a couple of jobs as well directly with yourself and the team. How do you find Access Link added value to the projects and to your team? And also, how do you think that we are different from other access consultants?
I believe Billbergia always works with trusted consultants and contractors, and we reward those relationships by working job in, job out with them. I was introduced to you by another trusted consultant who referred your name, and I think we've done a couple of jobs over the last 2 years now together. And really, the difference between Access Link and others is end-to-end knowledge and capability. So really, a lot of consultants are there to tick a box for DA. We found with Access Link, your input from early design so that there's good outcomes at the end, and trusting that process and advice that you give us has always resulted in a really good outcome for the job. So hopefully that relationship continues to thrive.
I hope so, and thank you for your trust and Billbergia's trust as well. We delivered projects that are related to accessibility and NDIS, so on both levels. And then we find working with Billbergia is the approach is not like some of other developers or builders where they just want to, as you said, tick the box for a compliance, but they also go one step ahead and sometimes 2 steps ahead to ensure that spatial allowance and also tolerances for construction has been maintained. What really triggered me is about Billbergia is that the adoption of the unique mix. And we can take an example, for example, Leeds Street Roads project that we're currently working on, which is subject to SSDA as well, uplift. Billbergia adopted the concept of having LHA apartments, right?
Yep.
And to be honest with you, only few of the builders and developers adopted this concept, and it's not a mandatory requirement. But Billbergia took it on board and applied it to all apartments in the development.
Yeah, correct.
So could you please give us a brief on the unique mix in the development and also the LHA standards and categories achieved in this specific project?
Yeah, sure. You might know better than most that accessibility controls can often be a bit tokenistic, 10% of the development. We found over the last 30 years of sales data that it's rarely ever a person who needs an accessible or adaptable home that ends up purchasing it. So we've changed our focus now to, rather than 10% of adaptable, 100% silver, gold or platinum level livable housing Australia. So what that really means is that 100% of units, whether you buy now or you buy from someone else down the track, that unit can very easily be retrofitted to your unique needs. As you know, not everyone needs a wheelchair. There's often other times different levels of accessibility required. So that unique mix of being 100% ready for that means at any point in the development lifetime, that unit is going to be ready for your unique needs.
That's spot on, and I believe that the standards in general, especially the BCA, doesn't cover anything for Class 2 adaptable housing, whereas Council DCP, and depending on council, they ask for a certain percentages. It might be 5, 10, 15%, depending on each council. But that's the step that you took forward, and adopting the whole project to be with mix of different standards, which is silver, gold, and platinum. In terms of the mix, what are sort of the percentages that we're looking at in this specific project?
So it works out to be almost a 33% split between 1, 2s and 3 bedrooms.
Yep.
But we'll have some 1 bedrooms that are platinum, some are gold, some are silver.
Mm-hmm.
So it really further defines that mix of available silver, gold, or platinum. So that no matter if you need a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom, there is a unit for you that you can step into, retrofit as needed. And oftentimes we found with previous jobs as well, those units can quite easily be converted to NDIS as well, which is we're seeing a big uptake in the market for. So being almost halfway there based on the standard to be easily retrofit really helps people convert their unit to the needs that they need.
Yeah, we need definitely more builders and developers like you guys, because this is definitely an added value to the community and adds much more value to the inclusive design in general, because you're covering different type of disabilities for different range and age groups. Where do you see the future of Sydney's housing market and supply for accessible participant, and what do you envision Billbergia Group playing in shape this future?
Look, I think this new affordable housing initiative is a step in the right direction. Obviously, we mainly develop in multi-res, high-density residential, so we really see an uptake of more high-density living, particularly with areas supported by transport and services, and the government is now pushing transport-orientated development, and we're really trying to feed into that. But we're seeing the unique change of the demographic buying into apartments. A lot of families now moving into apartments as opposed to looking for single-dwelling houses. So for us, that's a change of intergenerational dual key type apartments, as well as larger 3 bedrooms that can support a family, but also extending accessibility beyond the features of your home. You really should be able to leave your unit and still have an accessible and inclusive community. So really that's providing all the services and anything you might need also at your doorstep, so that from the distance from your door to the shops or to the train, it's all tailored for anyone's specific needs, not leaving anyone out of that process.
That's good. And in terms of the projects that are getting delivered now by Billbergia, could you please shed light on the most current active jobs that you think they definitely create a different shape in the market where they add value as well?
Yeah, so our state significant jobs, we've got a handful in roads now, with probably our largest base of operations. Apart from simply units, we're developing recreational centres with council, community centres, sports facilities, libraries. So it's extending that accessibility beyond just your home and really looking at what does the community need from also a social aspect. Creating places that create social interactions, to generate community, because the support structure also needs to be there. So we're looking at, predominantly in roads where our SSDA projects are. It's apartments with a unique mix and broad range of 1, 2s and 3s, but with different sizes as well that can be tailored to the market. And then also supporting services, so having shopping centres, having sports facilities, and close to transport at your doorstep as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that all other future jobs that I'm working with the team on also, you have a consistent adoption of the previous standards we spoke about for LHA, and also now you throwing NDIS, SDA apartments in the mix,
yep,
which obviously add much more value.
Yeah, we really learned that from partnering with community housing providers. Before doing jobs with Homes New South Wales and community housing providers, NDIS was a unknown space for us, and really seeing the needs that people in social and affordable homes need as well, and they sometimes need extra support. with a small conversion, it's much easier to do at the construction phase than retrofitting an apartment to achieve NDIS. So partnering them for their needs, we're looking to take that across the board and have NDIS-ready units from day one.
Amazing achievements, and I'm going to say Access Link Consulting team is always here to support your vision, your approach, and we're happy to help as much as we can to deliver a better accessible community to all. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for your help and support, and all the best tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much.
And I have no doubt that you're definitely gonna obtain a new fabulous recognition by these bodies tomorrow, and I think UDIA you mentioned.
Yep.
So all the best in that, and
thank you very much
for your time.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Rami.
Thank you.